Today's session is going to addressed by renowned resource person Mr. Rajendran Dandapani, Director of Engineering, Johor Corporation, India. It is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker. Mr. Rajendran Dandapani is the Business Solutions Evangelist at Johor Corporation. His educational background includes B.Tech in Electronics from IIT Madras. His area of expertise are web development, e-business, hotel management, online marketing, software programming, algorithmic, etc. He has held many important positions include Chief Algorithm Officer at Zarago, Director of Engineering at AdventNet, Director of Engineering at Johor Corporation. His role involves part database management, part programming, part design, part visualizing, part copywriting, and part networking. This session topic is startup journey. As all of you know, startups are the lifeblood of our economy and innovation across the globe. They create jobs, new products, and dreams. They are led by entrepreneurs who work hard to bring their ideas to life, often overshadowed by failure. They persist and can change the world. We feel that entrepreneurs are heroes that need to be celebrated and, more importantly, supported by a community of fellow founders. Now I request Mr. Rajendran sir to start the session. Please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So all day today you have been hearing talks on the theme of energy. Right? It looks like a misfit to have a startup story squeezed in between a day filled with talks about energy, renewable energy, environmental friendly energy usage and so on. But I am going to probably twist the game and say it's about entrepreneurial energy, right? The passion, the drive, the burning desire inside you to not be just an employee in some large nameless corporation and go to work 9 to 5, but to do something out of your own garage, work with friends you know and make a small dent in the universe, right? That requires a unique kind of energy, and probably with that introduction you can forgive me for talking about startups in an energy day, okay? So before we get started, I want to know something about you all. So how many of you are students of this college? Raise hands. Okay. How many of you are students not in the final year? Not in the final year. Oh, many of you are not in the final year. Okay. How many of you are dreaming of immediately after college setting up something of your own, or soon after college probably is doing a startup? How many of you? Okay, quite a few. Okay. So my aim is going to be to try to get more of those hands go up, right? I'm going to tell you from my experience, my understanding, my interaction with people, my reading of books and my interpretation of that with my own life story. I'm going to see what are all the things that encapsulate this thing called startup thinking, right? It's not just for the entrepreneurs. It is not as if we either become an employee in a nameless organization, right? Or we are a startup looking for venture capital or bootstrapping our own company into the next millennium. There are many startup-like thought processes which are useful wherever you go, whatever you do, right? So that's going to be my aim today. Let's get started. This is one of my favorite starting points, and I show you the rule book of cricket. Do you know how much of the cricket rule book has remained unchanged in 150 years? Take a guess. Almost 99% of the cricket rule book, except for this umpire decision reference system and the T20 rules perhaps, almost nothing has changed in this mature game, right? So if you look at the Wisden cricket, laws of cricket book from 1875 and you compare it with 2017, much of it would be a reprint. The font could have changed, but the language, the content, the rule, the numbers wouldn't change because it's a pretty mature system, right? So the rules are important. It is important that you know every bit of what is said by the gurus, the so-called gurus of the game, right? But do you remember this moment? What's happening there? Somebody is signaling a 6. Do you remember this moment? Can somebody tell me who, what? Relive the moment. What's happening there? Who's the bowler? Stokes. Who's the batsman? What's the moment? The World Cup T20 final 2016. So this is Brathwaite, and the way he batted, it was a 6, a 6, a 6 and a 6. With 2 balls to spare, he won the final for West Indies. So take a moment and think, would Brathwaite have been thinking about the rules of cricket at that time? About how to play, what ball is coming, what was said in the document, right? Or would he have just been fired by passion and playing it as it comes, right? At the same time, do not forget, this guy didn't ignore the rules of cricket. He learnt all the rules so that he could break them when wanted. You get me, right? So the point is, like Picasso himself said, learn the rules like a pro so that you can break them like an artist. Right? That's the deal. So what I'm going to tell today, perhaps you might want to note down. Not to follow, but to know when to break. Right? So there is no set rule book of starting up. There is, if that were true, every startup would be a success. Everybody would be following those steps and winning the game. Why are 9 out of 10 startups failing within the first year? It's because every game is different. Right? So yes, note down these rules or so-called guidelines I give you, but only to remember them enough so that when the time comes, you know what to break and how. And you get my point. So from among you, there are a lot of people I see here filled with energy and with lunch. There are going to be some who found companies, right? You're going to start up companies, like I saw a hand go up. You're going to be starting up. And some of you may join these companies and want to work, join, become a co-founder, become a chief technology officer and do something different. But all of you can benefit with this idea of startup thinking, because everyone is an entrepreneur. When you look at the spirit of entrepreneurship, the spirit of making something out of nothing, making a dent in the universe, putting something, making 2 + 2 = 5, that's the spirit of entrepreneurship, and almost every one of us needs it. Right? So entrepreneurship is all about having ideas. You need to get a lot of ideas, irrespective of the fact that probably 7 of them in the world already have the same idea. 4 of them have implemented the idea, made it a product. 3 of them have failed having implemented the product. Doesn't matter. You need to get a lot of ideas. Get the 99 ideas so that the 100th one can become a good one. Right? So all of you need to have ideas. You need to be able to sell the idea. It could be to a co-founder, it could be to a venture capitalist, it could be to a common man, it could be to a television camera, it could be to your wife or a husband, because you need to get the jewels to pledge and seed the money, right? It could be to anybody. But you need to know how to sell the idea, how to get the message across, how to tell people who don't even know what they need about what they should be desiring, right? So have an idea, be able to sell it, and beyond that you need to be able to execute it, because that is where most of us slip up. It's been open knowledge now that a metal cage enclosed with glass with some amazing software is the iPhone, right? It's 10 years old now. Why isn't there another phone from another company with equal amount of awe being inspired in the buyer? Right? Execution, the decision to say yes and 1,000 no's and never be compromising on quality, right? All these come together when you talk about execution. And I wanted a Gajdi picture and this one came up. So you need to be persistent, right? Failures are going to be the name of the game. You're going to fail. You remember that Thomas Alva Edison, was it? He said, I found 99 or 999 ways to fail before he decided, okay, it is not tortoise shell, it is not human hair, it is not a peacock feather, it is not rubber, it is not elastic, it's going to be tungsten, which is going to become the, he tried 999 times. He just found out 999 ways to fail, he said. Right? So to be persistent is an important expectation. If you want the entrepreneurial mindset in you, you need to be persistent. And you need to fail. Hopefully you need to fail fast. I am quite sure many of you don't even know what this means, or could? Many of you wouldn't know. You weren't born when this company failed perhaps. So this is the precursor to Google Plus and Facebook today. This was an amazing, cute little company that Google acquired. Right? It's a social network that was buried because of this color perhaps. Right? So you need to know how to fail. You need to be persistent, but you need to know how to fail. And more importantly, you need to learn from something. From that failure, you need to take away something. See, when a person performs, this is what we see. Right? That amazing juggler of 6-7 plates. Not a single person sitting on the stage actually sees all the broken plates behind him. Because he has been learning, he has been breaking, he has failed so many times, but he has been persistent and he has moved on to the stage and today he is performing. So that aspect of whenever there is this Japanese proverb which says, two Japanese proverbs actually. One of them says, what is success? Fall down 7 times, get up 8. That is success. Right? How beautiful is that pithy definition. What is success? Success is not never failing, never falling down, etc. Success is fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Always. Right? And there is the other Japanese proverb which says, whenever you fall, whenever you get up, pick something up. Right? So that is the message. You learn whenever there is a failure, you actually learn from some failure you have had. And to move on, there has to come a time when something isn't working. Right? It's foolish to keep trying the same thing and expect different results, Einstein is supposed to have said. So when you work on something with full energy and drive it, implement it, execute it, you learn from some mistakes and try changing it and it's still not working, a time will come when you have to move on. So all these put together is the entrepreneurial spirit, and my point is it's not necessary that it should be in a corner garage with 3 of your friends and you running it on pizzas and Red Bull. It can even be in a large company, wherever you are, whoever you are working with. Right? That's the message I want to get across to you. It's the thought that matters. Okay? So I'll take a short break and tell you about this company called Zoho that I work in. So we are a people-oriented company and we have been here 21 years. We still look at ourselves as a startup organization because we are a federation of small, loosely bound product teams. We build as many as 41 apps or products. So it could be, I'll tell you what those products are. And 30 million users worldwide use our products. All you need is a mobile phone or a internet connected computer to access our products. And we have around 5,300 employees spread around the world. We are a company out of Chennai. So those are our locations, office locations. This is how we have grown as a company. If you notice the difference between how a venture funded, externally steroid boosted company grows and how we grow, the difference is we are organic. We grew whenever we found the need to grow and build a new product. It's not as if we were 20 people strong for many years and then suddenly a venture capital came in and we tripled in size overnight, our culture went for a 6 and so on. It's an organically grown company. We grew whenever we felt the need to. Right? It was not an externally injected steroid that built our muscle. So to quickly look back in the past 20 years, what have we done? We actually took a call very long ago that as a company, we should have an identity that we are an Indian company making products, making software products, not delivering services, right? We wanted to create products that we could put our names on, proudly put our names on. We didn't want to go the way of a TCS or a CTS or a Wipro or an Infosys where somebody wrote code for somebody else and that got embedded into some other software and that finally became some multinational corporation sending the software back to India and charging us money for. Right? We wanted to build products that we could clearly and boldly say made in India. Right? That's how it started. So way back in '96, our target market was OEMs. By OEMs we mean original equipment manufacturers. So we had software that didn't even have an interface. Software that was embedded in projectors, embedded in routers, embedded inside printers and so on. So it will only talk to other hardware devices, right? That's how we started our game way back in '96. In 2001, we thought, okay, perhaps the time has come when the IT department of every company will probably need some of our software. So we said, okay, come out of the hardware, right? Instead of being embedded inside hardware, come out and provide interfaces that IT teams, for any company there needs to be an IT team, right? So that IT team can check whether a printer is out of paper, whether a particular firewall is broken, whether there is a network traffic issue somewhere, right? So troubleshooting software for IT departments was our pivot. In startup terminology, they call it a pivot. When you decide that this is no longer working or this is no longer giving you the acceleration you wanted and you switch, you pivot to do something else. That was our first pivot and we created something called Manage Engine. And in 2005, our target became every business because that was when Web 2.0 started catching on. By Web 2.0, we mean the web, the internet, for which you can actually create content. For a very long time, the internet was, some people created content and a lot of people consumed it. Right? So when Web 2.0 caught on, the YouTubes of the world, the Twitter, the Facebook, all of these started coming up in quick succession. Bloggers and WordPress and so on. So we felt the time has come for us to provide software. In every business, there will be people who will need project management tools, who will need document creation tools, who will need presenting tools, who will need collaboration tools, where they will use the internet as a vehicle for content creation and collaboration. So that was our second pivot, and that was when Zoho was born. So in the first case, we had a selling point. It was Java, because Java was you can write once and run it anywhere. That was the promise. In the second case, we wanted to diversify. We felt it wasn't giving us enough traction. We said, okay, let's try something else. That was the second case. And in the third case, we saw an opportunity. Web 2.0, the cloud, the SaaS model, software as a service model coming up from the cloud. And we went on that third try. So 5,000 users was a great thing for us when we were in the Web NMS times. In Manage Engine, 5 lakh users was good, but in Zoho, we are hoping every user who is online, every citizen of the world who is online can be touched, because that is our pitch today. Personal and organizational productivity tools and collaboration tools. That's how we are looking at it. So over the last decade, we built so many apps. We have products. If you are running a company, if you are in a small or a large organization, you need tools for marketing, you need tools for sales, you need tools for personal productivity like creating documents, you need tools to bookkeep and finance, file bills, taxes, you need people management tools, right, from leave, administration and permission and hierarchy and so on. And you also need tools like chat, email, a Facebook-like environment inside your company for collaboration, and also you need tools to manage devices. These days, gone are those days when the company gave you a hardware. This is your laptop, use it. These days, our home laptops are much faster and much better. We let them bring their own hardware, their own phones. So bring your own device is the mantra these days. So how do you ensure no malware gets in? How do you ensure no hacker comes in through a person-owned device? So we have tools for all that. So all these put together, the front office, the back office, the organizational structure put together, we have something called the operating system for your business. So what is Zoho? If there is one line you want to remember about Zoho, it would be this. We are a company with a length and breadth and depth of hardware and software, which put together becomes the operating system for your business. So to run your business on the cloud, this is a good alternative to so many other installed software. And like I said earlier, we are made in India, out of Chennai, and made for the world. So one thing about any piece of software, whatever you decide to purchase or subscribe to, one interesting thing about it that many people miss out on is, it's not about how well the software works, it's about how well they work together. Right? Even in cricket, the analogy that we took earlier, it's not about a single person performing. Can he work well? Can he run in combination with another person? Can he plan an attack? Can he be properly placed in the field? So all these play a role. Similarly with software for companies, it's not about one particular amazing software that you purchase and all the problems are solved. It's about small bits and pieces you get together and create an ecosystem. And in that ecosystem, they should talk well with each other, they should share data, they should be secure, and that's the winning strategy. And interestingly, we took zero VC money. In 21 years, this company has never went asking money from venture capitalists. In fact, 2 or 3 companies have approached us, including a large company like Salesforce approached us and wanted to acquire us. We said that wasn't part of the game. We don't have an exit strategy. We want to continue building software that we are proud enough to put our name on. So it was built on zero VC money. And it has been reinvented 3 times like I showed you in the graph. And we didn't have any documented business plan, right? So one mistake so many college students, particularly the MBA variety do, is before getting started on the product, getting started on the idea, they draw hundreds of pages of a document, right? This is my business plan. That's not worth it at all. In fact, we have a thumb rule. Anything that's put down on paper, it's already too obsolete. Right? Because the time it has taken to put it down on paper, you could have actually built a prototype, showed it to 10 people, got feedback, implemented some of the feedback and done something much better. Right? Think on the feet and keep running. That's how we look at it. So I'm going to leave behind 18 tips. Right? I have split them into 3 sets of 6. So I'm going to talk to you about what you have to build, what you want to build. I'm going to talk to you about who you want to build it with, right? How do you get your partner? How do you get your team together? I'm also going to tell you, once you decide what to build and once you got your team together, how you should build it, okay? So what, who and how. Alright, so what do you start up with? You are seeing so many people talk about startups and you also want to become the next Mark Zuckerberg perhaps. How do you get something done? How do you get started on that? Here are 6 thoughts. The first one is learn to scratch your personal itch. Right? So what I mean by that is, when you are wondering what to do, look inwards. You will have your own problem. I was hearing Johnson tell me about what some of the students in this college do in your first year, right? You go visit villages, get back into society and try to understand their problem, do a fishbone analysis and SWOT analysis and so on. That's an amazing thing that you guys are doing. Not many colleges even know how to start doing stuff like that, right? That's very good. So start by looking at what's itching you. Every person is unique, they say. Every need is separate, every need is different. So if you look inwards and find out what is bothering you, you could be a market of one. Nobody else might have the same problem. But if you have that problem, if it is a real itch, think about a real itch. There are three things that are special about a real itch. The first thing is, once it starts itching, you're going to keep on scratching until this itch goes away. Yeah? All of us agree? Right? When it starts itching really bad, you're going to scratch. Until it goes away, you're going to keep scratching. The second thing about an itch is, nobody else is going to come and help you. You can't say, hey, can you? Right? So you got to scratch it. That's the burning, that's the drive that comes only when you look inwards and get a personal itch. The third thing about scratching a personal itch is, when it starts really itching, you will stop at nothing, right? There are people who have taken a sword or a knife to their backs just to get that thing, right? Fork and knife and so on. Yes, you agree? Right? No other problem can give you this triple threat, right? You won't stop, you will stop at nothing, and nobody else is going to help you. So whenever I interview people for my own team, I actually ask them, hey, don't show me your project, don't show me your credit score, don't show me your certificates, don't show me anything that you have created because you had to deliver a project, or you did it for money, or you did it to complete your course or anything. Show me something that you built simply because of the urge to build. Something that just couldn't be kept bottled for too long, right? So one kid actually came up and showed me a small mobile app he had built for his dad. His dad was a train superintendent, and his white shirt had a brown patch here always. And this guy asked that person, his dad, what is that? And he noticed that whenever it passes a particular point, he has to note down what time, right? And then put his pocket diary back into his pocket. Just the act of doing this 20 times every day on that shirt created a permanent patch, a brown patch on his shirt. What did the boy do? He wrote a small app. He was a computer science student at a college. He wrote a small application. How many users? How many users for that product? One. Just his dad. How much did he sell it for? Zero. He can't ask dad money. Right? So imagine building a software product for one user and selling it for $0. That is scratching a personal itch. Did he learn about user interface design? Did he learn about usability? Did he learn programming? Did he learn connecting to a cloud API? He learned all that. Did he do user testing? He did all that. But it was just purely out of an urge to impress his dad and get something done and build something out of nothing. Right? So look for people like that. That's been my mantra. And even when you want to start something, this is a good thing to start. How was Facebook started? You all know, right? Hot or not. Mark Zuckerberg wanted to decide whether this girl was hot or not. That's how it started. There was no software for that. He started. And today we can't be away from it for 10 minutes. Right? So every great initiative has always started by scratching a personal itch. How was the Linux operating system started? Think about that. How was open source as a movement started? How was Virgin Airways started? It was all for a personal itch. So never underestimate the power of a personal itch. When you start small, right? Don't have a 100-member organization in a large glass and steel office in the center of the city, fully air conditioned with a beautiful, I'm not saying receptionist, I'm saying reception, right? With a beautiful reception up front. No, that's not the deal. When you have the idea to start it small. Start it out of your dad's or mom's garage. Have great plans. Think big, like that cat is doing. Always think 5 years, 10 years ahead. What could be? But never make the mistake of committing so much of your financial and mental resources into putting a structure in place. That will come. That will come after you get your first customer perhaps. Right? So don't put the cart before the horse. Huh? A common mistake many of us do is we think, oh, I simply love coffee, so I am going to be great as a coffee chain owner. First mistake, do you love drinking coffee or do you love brewing coffee? If you love drinking coffee, go to the coffee shop, get your job done. Right? Don't start dreaming about starting a coffee chain yourself. Coffee connoisseurs are different from entrepreneurs. Okay, that's clear. You are a person who loves brewing coffee.